Hello everybody, today I'm here with the last set of levels for this Dr. Mario World update, and the last couple levels were kind of tough, but again I just found these to be somewhat enjoyable, so let's just go through them here. They finally are bringing back the use of the extra capsule pieces, which when I say finally I don't mean like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting. I just mean like we haven't seen it in a little bit, so of course, you're just trying to get those whenever you can. And also going for the locks as quickly as you can too. And it can get kind of tough to get to those extra capsules, but just try to do it as quickly as you can. Then when you get to this point, it's just basic clearing viruses, but there are also some blocks that are around the viruses that will not be hit completely just by destroying the viruses. So you will need to go back to them in some form, especially that topmost one. But that one's probably the easiest one to get, really. The lower one is actually probably a lot easier and will probably get hit as many times as it needs to. But yeah, I sat down and I did it for about a half an hour and I beat all 5 of them. And it's pretty late at night, and I'm going to be busy tomorrow, so it was probably an unfortunate idea, but I was playing a game with my friends, so it just got a little bit late. But I plan on uploading this right after I'm done, and it should take about an hour, and then it'll be up. And then, you know, I'm just happy to have it out of the way then. Because, you know, like I said, I'm going to be busy this weekend, so... Anyways, like I said, we've got this one row of blocks up here I still need to hit. They have like 4 hits in them. And you can see I barely have any capsules left. It's actually a little surprising. I actually end up beating this one. And I probably should use yellows a bit more for clearing that stuff because I had a lot of them. But we just had those 4 blocks at the top that we hit, and then 3 capsules remaining, which is clearly plenty to get the 3rd star. And this next one took quite a while until I just was like, man, I gotta bring in King Boo. And this is such a strange one. They never do stuff like this. You start with 9 capsules and you don't get any more if you don't bring in Wario. I do not know how this is even possible without Wario. I guess whoever you bring in, you just have to make sure they clear the whole stage for you, but it's just like, who do you bring in? I don't know. I feel like Wario's gotta be the one you bring in for this one. I don't know. But you can pretty much just copy exactly what I do here. They give you almost exactly the same viruses or capsules each time, if not the same each time. So it's pretty much the same thing. And when you bring in King Boo as your assistant, you should end around 8 capsules. It does get a little different with the remaining capsules after a little while, but the first, like, I think all 9 are like exactly the same every time. Which is why I don't know how it's even possible to do it with any other characters. Maybe not all 9, maybe like 6 of them are the same, but like the initial ones are all always the same. So we move on to the next one here, and this one's a little awkward, I would say. And the coin's gonna make it a bit weird, and the bubbles are always weird as well. So just hitting that cannon right off the bat. I am bringing in the rainbow boost, but again, just trying to use it as if I was getting the colors that I wanted. Now I wanted to get this yellow in to wedge it in to get all 3, but if you don't get it in between all 3 of them, then just the bottom 2 are going to get popped. It's just how it goes. And I wish I got like a double blue or something to bring into there, but I did not. So I ended up clearing the few coins on the top and then working my way in. I would suggest just clearing the columns as you go. And not even just focusing on the purple coin specifically, but just the whole column. And, you know, try to be smart about it. I tried to bring that red in there to pop those 2, but I did not. And I would suggest leaving at least the unpopped viruses next to the caged coins so you can use them later. Like, you can unpop them because obviously the coins only take 1 hit. But to completely clear them means that you can't use them later to actually clear those coins, so you know, keep that in mind. And then we've got kind of a weird strain of coins here, but I feel like I handle it pretty well. Destroying those couple there, then putting a couple on this coin so I can get a red in there, and then all of this is open, bringing the blues down, and some reds in between these coins. Now all the coins are gone. All I have left is a single blue crate that I didn't get until now, or I guess I won't have gotten until now. I haven't gotten it quite yet. And then this one bomb is going to help me get a few more hits. So I need to be strategic on how much I'm hitting down here, because the bomb will help me out at least a little bit. And I probably should have cleared it earlier than I did, but that's alright. I also need to make sure to get Wario's skill one last time, because I'm not going to beat it otherwise. And then luckily I get some more blues, and we're at 3 stars before even getting those few extra points. So went pretty well. This next one I feel a bit cheap about how I did it. I don't know just how fair it is, but the basic idea of it is the same, and I will give you some tips that I think might be the case. I only played this level once. I think maybe the stage might be wanting you to freeze some of the stuff a couple of times. Kind of the same idea as that one where it was wanting you to bubble things a couple of times. And the reason to do that would be to hit some of these blocks multiple times, so you don't have to go back to them later. But what I ended up doing was just going through the lines, clearing it as I go, specifically focusing on the viruses first, and then after I get all this done, I go back to all the blocks and start clearing the blocks. And I don't know, it kind of feels like it wants you to freeze the stuff a couple of times. I think that would make sense. But it's also probably possible to do it with this way. Now the way why I say I think it's kind of cheap is that I ended up using Wario's skill a little early, because I came in it with that the free skill, or like, yeah, you start with the skill, that power up, and I don't think I should have, because I used it a little too early. And I don't know, it would have affected my score at all. Well, I think I actually end before I'm able to use Wario's skill again, so I guess it wouldn't have really mattered, would it? Because I don't actually trigger Wario's skill here. So I guess he would have ended the same amount if I had used it a little bit later anyways. So never mind, I guess it worked out just fine. So do that as you will. Let me know if it is better to freeze things a couple more times or just go back to them like I did. Now this next one, it never fails. It never fails. Bring in Toad here. I get the extra 3 capsules from Toad. And of course, I needed them to actually get 3 stars. But I'm going to just leave this in because the strategy is basically the same. Although this round I feel like went a little bit different than most of the rounds I had with Toad, which all felt pretty similar. I just needed a little bit better luck. But I ended up triggering these electric bombs a little bit earlier than I typically would. And that just affects the that bottom section of the stage a little bit. Just because those electric bombs will usually like destroy this section here. And instead they didn't. They kind of just destroyed each other and a few of the things above it. So it's kind of a different way to clear it than I was typically used to. And I really didn't... I ended with 3 capsules remaining, so technically I would have actually beat it. But I would not have gotten 3 stars. I just wouldn't have. But the strategy is basically the same. And if you get really lucky with Toad, or alternatively Goomba Tower, either one works. I don't even know why I brought in Toad. It was just the game suggested it, and then I don't know. I was stubborn and just stuck with it. But I typically enjoy bringing Goomba Tower more. So we're just working our way through, as you would. And we're starting to get to the point here where these cannons come in, and you gotta get to this lock first. Obviously there are a couple of locks in the stage you gotta get to, but we get to this lock here in just a second, and then you're gonna be able to start triggering these cannons. I would suggest You know, obviously Toad is going to do it a little bit. But I would suggest waiting for the whole stage to scroll before you start hitting these cannons, because you're not going to, like, especially the bottom corners can be really annoying. So it's best if you have them ready to go. So now when those cannons actually get hit, the bottom corner virus will also get out of its block. If you don't allow the cannon to hit it for you, then you'll have to clear it an extra time because that block is there, and it's super annoying to do it in that corner. I also messed up and placed this red and blue capsule incorrectly. The stage would have been much easier if I had just done that correctly. I wouldn't have... Actually, I probably would have gotten 3 stars, honestly, if I had just done that correctly, so keep that in mind too. But there's quite a lot of red viruses on stage, and I ended up kind of wasting some of these red capsules. Also, if Toad would have just hit that blue one, I would have been able to drag the red one over. But instead I had to bring down a bunch more capsules, so there were a lot of hindrances there where if it would just went better, it wouldn't have been a problem. So, anyways, those are all the stages. We get our B, Sting B, I guess, and we get to see all the Toads having their picnic and everything. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. That went pretty well. I don't know if a clinic event is coming up or a skill summit, but I'll see you for whatever's that. So, goodbye.